So let's take a moment to look at this. Essentially, right now we're thinking about kingdom mentality. What does it mean to have a kingdom mentality? You know, let's just say if we stop and we look at the fact that they destroyed most people's mentality as to what a kingdom mentality is. Let's look at the remnants of what is left in the people that can be perceived. So essentially, we arrive at lineage, legacy, being able to say that you're carrying on what essentially has been carried and having a capacity to calculate, even at that roughly, for the essential of what it is that you're conveying and communicating such. But essentially, it's kingdom mentality. So if we stop and we realize that the majority of those people that have this kind of mentality, basically, especially nowadays, and most of all in our society that is so diverse, set about having so many people arrive from so many places, and even though it's still the same planet, that's not the essential ruling thought that most people land at. They land at thinking more lineage, which in one way it's empowering because it brings you to the kingdom mentality, but on the other side of it, you also see how it kind of asks for you to have some common sense, and the capacity to be able to do that essentially is being able to distinguish the factor of understanding then thus that everybody becomes essentially in this something that is collectively accumulated in the lump sum. So I mean, in that sense, it just means essentially your existential becomes more than just existential in relation to what it should tell you, then thus in what it is that you're compiling to add not only the value that essentially is there for you yourself to see, but to carry on over and also translate in ways that others as well can then perceive what you yourself have conceived in, finding that is worth and worthy of conveying and sharing what essentially has been grasped about the concept or what it is that you're attempting to correlate in relation to then thus what it is that you're conveying basically in the construct or structure that you're presenting. So yeah, that's basically kingdom mentality. So it makes you wonder where you stand in this. Do you see the existential in its cosmo and in its energetic transfer being a consistency that you then thus have to also be able to in your own self, conceptualize what that might actually do to your equation of you, thinking of you?